Tishtí agus daltaí Coláiste agus Gael Coláiste Colum. You're all very welcome to our information webinar on the fifth year options. My own name is Donal Lyons and I am the Deputy Principal in the Senior School who looks after the student experience at Senior Cycle. Our facilitators for this webinar are members of our guidance department, Anya Higgins, Cathy Kilgannon and Lucy McCullen. Anya will firstly guide you through the things you need to take into account before choosing your subject options for next year. She will also talk to you about the resources available to inform your decision. Then Cathy will take a more in-depth look into each one of the subject areas available. And finally, Lucy will explore the various routes you can take after the Leaving Certs. We will finish with a run-through of how you select your options using our VSware portal. Before I pass you over to Anya, I just want to bring your attention to the division of classes in both third and fourth year, as there will be some third year students who will go directly to fifth year. The teachers in this slide are available for students to chat to should they have any queries in relation to their option subjects for next year. And finally, if any parents want to discuss their child's options, please feel free to contact either Anya Higgins or Lucy McCullen, our two guidance counsellors at the top of this slide, and they will be happy to help you. Over to you, Anya.
In fifth year, students study 3 core subjects: Irish, English, Maths, so there's no decision needed with these. You also choose 4 option subjects. Students typically sit 7 subjects for the Leaving Cert, but only the best 6 grades are used to calculate your point score. Your 7th subject is an important safety net. Sometimes students take an extra subject outside school. We would advise you to be cautious about this. To fully engage and study for 7 subjects in school is generally enough work. It's also important to keep a balance for yourself over the next 2 years, so you also have time for your friends and your hobbies outside school. The key question for good subject choice is, do you enjoy the subject? You need to ask yourself which subjects you liked for the Junior Cert, so you will be motivated to study. Reflect on what you were good at for the Junior Cert. What came easiest to you? Did you do better at subjects that were verbal, numerical, spatial, practical, or creative? You will get good grades and points in subjects that reflect your natural abilities. These are some ideas that can lead to poor subject choice. For example, you have to be really smart to do that subject. It's important to keep an open mind and choose subjects that you know you are strong at. Often students also take up a new subject like engineering or music or business, and it works out really well. For another example, I'll do that subject because everyone says it's really easy and I'll get really high points. There's no such thing as an easier or harder subject for the Leaving Cert. Students with strong numerical abilities might favour accounting over German or French, but a student with a flair for languages will find German or French easier. Every subject needs time, dedication and consistency over the next 2 years. Another example. I didn't like it for the Junior Cert, but it will be fine for the Leaving Cert. Realistically, if you didn't like a subject in Junior Cert, that probably won't change in Senior Cycle. For example, a lot of students decide to take at least one science subject. However, if you really did not like science, you may decide to do another subject instead. If you really found languages challenging, then it's important to talk to your guidance counsellor also to see, do you really need to choose French or German for your plans after school. You have a lot of people here to support you with your decision. Your parents, guardians know you best, so discuss it with them. All of your teachers will be aware that you're choosing your subjects, so ask them to go through their subject for Senior Cycle. It's a good idea to talk to your Junior Cycle teachers who would also know your strengths. You can request an appointment with us, with your guidance counsellor, by email if you need further help. And 5th year and 6th year students are very aware how challenging it can be to make this decision, so they really, really will help you. It's important to do as much research as you can yourself. There are excellent resources available. Examinations.ie will give you an overview of the Leaving Cert exam papers you will be working towards. Careersportal.ie has an excellent section on subject choice. Click on School, Transition Year and Guide to Leaving Cert Subjects and it will bring you to this webpage. You will get detailed information on each subject. There are also video interviews with people talking about the subjects they chose for their Leaving Cert and how helpful those subjects are in their careers today. Where to find the subject requirements. To check specific entry requirements for third level, check the CAO website under the Courses tab. It is the responsibility of each student to check these course and college requirements. The Qualifax website also shows the minimum entry requirements for courses. Some courses have essential subjects as an entry requirement. If you are considering these courses, be sure to select your subject options to incorporate these choices. Also, stay up to date with your research into courses each year as requirements change. Some are listed here. For example, one science is required for nursing, speech therapy and occupational therapy. If you wish to study veterinary, medicine, dentistry, pharmacy or dietetics, higher level chemistry is essential. If you're not sure about your plans after school, choose a balance of subjects to keep your options open for most courses. A lot of students will change their career plans many times over the next 2 years. So for example, you could choose French or German, a science subject, a business, practical or humanities subject, plus one more subject. That's the end of my slides, and thank you very much for listening. I encourage you to do as much research as possible over the next few weeks and look forward to talking with some of you in January if you need further advice. I'll hand you over to Kathy now.
Hi everyone. As you can see from the display, we offer students a choice of 17 subject options at Leaving Cert level. It is worth bearing in mind that not all subjects are assessed through a written exam in the Leaving Cert. Some have projects and practical work associated with them, which spreads out the pressure the students may feel. I'll briefly discuss each subject with you now. First, we have home economics. It is not necessary to have studied it for Junior Cert in order to take it up for Leaving Cert. It's a very practical subject and it's applicable to everyday life. It covers things like nutrition, consumer studies, food studies and sociology. Assessment takes the form of a 20% journal, which is submitted at the end of 5th year, and an 80% final written paper in June. Next, we have the practical group of construction studies, engineering and DCG. The student must have studied at least one from this grouping at Junior Cert in order to take any practical subject for Leaving Cert, and they must talk to the teachers involved if taking up a new practical subject. First, we have construction studies, which would have been woodwork at Junior Cert. This course introduces students to the knowledge and skills involved in construction technology and construction materials and processes. There's a 25% project and portfolio, a 25% woodwork exam, so then the final paper is worth 50% in the June of Leaving Cert. Next, we have engineering, which would have been called metalwork for Junior Cert. It specifically deals with mechanical engineering and deals with the planning and development and realization of technological projects. There's a 25% project, 25% practical, and a 50% written theory exam in the same way as we had for construction studies. Finally, in this group, we have design communications graphics, which is DCG, and that would have been called technical graphics at Junior Cycle. DCG relies upon a student's ability to problem solve, visualize 2D and 3D images, and engage in freehand sketching using traditional drafting equipment and computer-aided design. There's a 40% project with this subject and a 60% written exam. Next, we have the creative grouping, both art and music. Both students can be taken up without prior study at Junior Cert level. Art. This syllabus allows for self-expression as well as an appreciation of the artistic work of others. Assessment involves a 10-week project undertaken immediately after Christmas in 6th year. This 50% will be completed within class time in front of the teacher. There are 2 additional exams in May and in June. There's life drawing, which is worth 12.5%, and art history, which is worth 37.5%. Please note that art history requires essay writing skills. Next, we have music. This course is in 3 parts. There's performing, composing, and listening. The performance element can involve a candidate playing a musical instrument or using their voice as the instrument, either as a soloist or in a group, or they can also perform using music technology. 50% of this subject is sat prior to the written paper in the Leaving Cert exam through both performance, which happens at Easter time in Leaving Cert, and a listening exam before your Leaving Cert exams. Next, we have the business group, where Junior Certificate Business Studies encompasses accounting and business. At Leaving Cert, each topic becomes a subject in its own right. Students are not required to have studied business studies at Junior Cert to take either accounting or business for senior cycle. Accounting. Students who select accounting need to be numerical. They would need to be consistently getting above a H3 in maths to be suited to accounting. The Leaving Cert accounting course covers both managerial and financial accounting. 100% of the exam is sat in June of Leaving Cert. Business. This course looks at how a simple idea can evolve into a profitable enterprise. It looks at the laws which govern businesses and threats from competitors. Local and international businesses are studied, and there's a real ability to apply the subject to real life and multiple careers. 100% of this exam is sat in the June of Leaving Cert. Next, we have our languages. We have French and German. Students are strongly advised to keep their third language where possible. Some universities, UCC being one, require you to have studied a third language in order to apply. If, however, you have an exemption from a language in school, you can apply for an exemption at third level also via the National University of Ireland. Your guidance counsellor can help you with this if you require. Both French and German can be taken at higher or ordinary level and have an oral, and written paper, so that the exam is broken up into 3 parts. The weighting of each element of the paper each element of the paper varies depending on the level you are taking, but the written paper sat in June is 55% of the student's overall grade in each case. Next, we have the science group. All 3 subjects are assessed 100% at the final exam in June. Biology studies the living world, from human biology to animal and plant biology to the functioning of individual cells. It is a comprehensive course with a vast vocabulary. Chemistry. There's a strong practical element in this course with 28 mandatory experiments. It suits students who are logical thinkers. Students must be able to draw graphs and interpret the data within them. Lastly, we have physics. It involves theory, problem solving and practical work, and students must perform either 24 higher level experiments or 22 ordinary level experiments. While higher level maths is not essential for physics, an appreciation of maths is helpful. Next, we have history and geography. History involves a lot of research and reading, so an independent learner is well suited to the course. Answers must be presented in an essay form, therefore a good command of English and an ability to express one's thoughts clearly is essential. There's a 20% research report which is submitted around Easter time in 6th year. Geography. It's the study of people, their environment, and how the two interact with each other. There's a lot of choice in the course, so it allows students to follow the areas which are of particular interest to them. There's a geographical investigation report which is worth 20%, and then there's the final written exam for your Leaving Cert also. On to our last 2, we have Leaving Cert Physical Education. There is a practical and a theoretical element to the course. The theoretical element explores the promotion of physical activity, ethics and fair play, physical activity and inclusion, technology, media and sport, gender and physical activity, and business and enterprise in physical activity and sport. The physical activity project is worth 20%. Then you have a performance assessment, which is worth 30%. And finally, you have the written paper for your Leaving Cert, and that's worth 50%. The last subject I'll talk to you about is computer science. This course teaches computational thinking, which allows students to create meaningful digital products. It explores programming languages like Python and JavaScript, and it looks at how computers and society impact and interact with each other. The exam takes the form of a 30% final year project and a 70% end of course examination. Over Trí Gaeilge. 11 of the 17 option subjects are currently offered at Os Gaeilge. Students must indicate this as a preference when selecting their subjects on VSware. Bonus marks for Irish. Students who complete their written exams Os Gaeilge will be rewarded with bonus marks when calculating their points. It can range from an extra 5 to 10% depending on the subject taken. We advise students to get further information on this at www.examinations.ie. Bonus points for higher level maths. Bonus points are awarded for students who achieve a H6 or higher in their higher level maths exam. So if, for example, you got 42% in higher level maths, ordinarily for any other subject you would get 46 points. However, when you add in the extra bonus points for completing it at higher level and achieving over H6, you'll actually get 71 points in that subject then. Now, so that's all from me. Thanks for your attention. I'll pass you on to Lucy, who will talk to you about routes after school.
Thanks, Kathy. Hi, everyone. While this is all about choosing your subject options, it's also a good time to begin to think about the future and where you may go after school. So I just want to introduce you to the different options open to you, which might help when you are choosing your subjects. The majority of our Leaving Certs go on to higher education, that is to UCC, CIT, UL, Mary I and so on, where they study honours degrees at level 8 or ordinary degrees at level 7. Each of these courses have minimum entry requirements and many have specific subject requirements which were mentioned earlier. The rest of our Leaving Certs go on to study level 5 certificates at colleges of further education, also known as the PLCs, the post-Leaving Cert colleges. That is the College of Commerce, Coláiste Stefan Nefa and St John's College. Each applicant is interviewed, so it is not based on Leaving Cert points. Maths and English are usually required for the PLCs and many courses in these colleges don't require specific subjects. PLCs have excellent progression opportunities to colleges here and in the UK. A number of our Leaving Certs also take up apprenticeships, both trade and occupational, which I would like to talk to you a little bit about now, as college isn't for everyone and an apprenticeship may be where some students find their talents lie. The first type of apprenticeship is traditionally known as a trade apprenticeship. For example, plumbing, electrical, mechanics, carpentry and so on. For these you must be at least 16, have achieved a minimum of 5 passes in your junior cert and hold a number of other requirements. You must have Irish or English, maths, science or practical subject plus 2 other subjects. While these are minimum requirements, many employers prefer students to have done the Leaving Cert. You may also be required to have a safe pass and have completed a colour vision test and aptitude test or a medical exam and an interview. These trade apprenticeships suit those that learn by doing or who like to be active, and they also offer an alternative route to learning. Students are employed from day one of the apprenticeship, therefore earning as they are learning. The second type of apprenticeships are the new occupational apprenticeships, which are closely linked to the colleges. They are very structured and offer a lot of support with regular access to a mentor. There are a wide variety of career choices available, from the biopharmaceutical industry to hospitality. Some examples of these occupational apprenticeships are the 2-year accounting technician apprenticeship in the College of Commerce. An applicant would need approximately 310 points and have an English and maths or accounting. The apprentice would attend college 1 day a week and work 4 days a week with an employer. The 2-year auctioneering and property services apprenticeship, also in the College of Commerce, would require 5 passes in the Leaving Cert or Leaving Cert Applied. The chef de partie apprenticeship in CIT would also require 5 passes in the Leaving Cert or Leaving Cert Applied. the Manufacturing Engineering Apprenticeship in CIT Level 6 and 7, an applicant would need 5 passes in the Leaving Cert including Maths and English or Irish. The Cybersecurity Apprenticeship offered by the Cork ETB requires 5 passes in the Leaving Cert. The advantages of these new occupational apprenticeships are that they offer that you can earn as you learn while still gaining a professional qualification up to levels 6, 7 and 8. They offer a balance between work and education by combining on-the-job training with academic study. They help the student gain confidence and competence doing the job and self-sufficiency from a younger age, and they are skills-based qualifications with international recognition. So if you learn better by doing and you are interested in maybe doing a trade or occupational apprenticeship after school, you can check out the 2 websites, apprenticeship.ie and apprenticeshipjobs.ie for more information.
Thank you, Lucy. We will now go through how you select your option subjects by logging on to VSware on a desktop as you normally would do. Please note that this facility is not available on the VSware app. Option preferences are open to you from Monday the 15th of January to Friday the 2nd of February. On the menu to the left-hand side of your son or daughter's timetable on VSware, you simply click on the student options, and when you do that, the list of available subjects will pop up, and then you select your 6 subject preferences, even though you will be doing just 4 of them. It is very important to remember that the order of preference does in fact matter, and so you need to put the subject you favourite the most first and continue to add subjects in order of preference until you reach your 6th preference choice. It is also important to ensure that you fill in all 6 boxes. Our aim is to ensure you get your 4 top subjects, and the majority of students will get their first 4 preferences. Tá galtaí an Gael Cloiste, mar tá ábhar ar fáil trí Gaeilge, ní mór é sin ar ó nú trí Gaeilge. Once you have completed your 6 subject selections, the words Option Entry Completed will appear, and you simply sign out of VSware, and that completes the process. If you have any technical issues at all, you can contact the main office at any of the following 2 numbers on screen for both Cloiste and Gael Cloiste Cullum. Now this system will be live, as I said previously, from Monday the 15th of January to Friday the 2nd of February. Please take your time and discuss your choices very carefully. You can change your mind at any time during the 2-week window from the 15th to the 2nd by logging onto the system and redoing your options. The other important point to note is that you can assume that you have got your 4 options unless I will contact you directly once the window shuts down. Once the window is closed on the 2nd of February, we then go about creating option blocks. And because we're such a large school, we do find that facilitating student choice is easier, and students are usually very happy with the options that they get. But please note that we cannot guarantee we will be able to facilitate changes once the option blocks are finalised on VSware. If you decide at any point to change your mind from the time of the closing date on the 2nd of February onwards, in relation to a change of subject option, you need to fill out a subject change of mind form, and these are available at the main office or online. It is important to note that we do not consider any change of option via phone, as we need these change of mind forms for our own records. So finally, I would like to thank you, the parents and students, for logging on and taking the time to watch this webinar. I hope you found it informative. Thank you for your attention, and buekas koma to our guidance team and our facilitators, Anya, Kathy and Lucy, for their time in creating this webinar and for the great care they take of our students. Grumina ma guibh galéir.
And these